Afternoon, good morning if you're in the UK. I don't even know what time it is in the US, but over here in Australia it is time for dinner. I'm testing out this time to see how we go. Normally, as you know, I do the Asia Open, but I'm here with you guys for the 2 a.m. extension, which we talked about earlier this morning. So if you are joining me for the first time, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Let me know what you think of this time slot. Would it be better if we went a little bit later, or is this pretty good for everyone? I'm going to do a follow-on from the TA that we discussed this morning on this morning's video. So now that we've had the Asia session almost over, we can talk about what has happened since then. So who have we got here in the chat? The Tin Man was number one today. Hello, welcome. Hi from across the ditch. Maximus, Ro, Julian, Mark, Tasha. Oh, good to see you guys. First time with you in 4 months. Good to see you here. Okay, so what I want to talk about was, let me just do a very quick recap on what we're talking about this morning and then what I think may happen for the rest of the session. So first of all, quick recap. We're talking about this move here that happened in the dead gap zone and how I cautioned you to be careful that it could be a fake move, because the dead gap zone has been giving us fake moves this week, with the actual sessions giving us 100% recovery. So this is where we are now. It turns out that this was the fake move and it did give us the 100% recovery. The idea was to wait for Asia to at least do its 2 a.m. extension. As you can see, the 2 a.m. extension is about to start right now on this candle. So now you can see, when you have a look at this price action, why it's so important. If you want to trade the Asia session, you really are better off just waiting for the initial high and the initial low of the day to be set. It's usually set by the 2 a.m. extension, 2 a.m. being New York time, by the way, just to be clear, because it's quite unpredictable before then. So we wanted to see this area hold here that I have highlighted if we were going to see more upside. Obviously, Bitcoin could not hold that area, meaning this long right here is no longer the play, and we're heading down. The first target was back at the 16,900, and the second target was back down at 16,600. So we're going to reassess those, but also just to give you an overall idea now that we've had this move, what I think might be going on, but it's not really confirmed yet, but we'll see. So if I zoom out to the 1 hour time frame, the weekly setup is probably the one that's in play here. And if you know this method, then you know that there is a weekly setup and a daily setup, and they both have the same kind of action, but it will happen on different time frames, and one usually leads into the other. And at this point in time, if we're looking at the weekly time frame, we usually look for a 3-day swing trade, right? But if you're trading the daily, you're in and out in the day. So when we have a look for the weekly setup, we do have our peak formation high. This is where we start the count every week. So if we start our count from here, whether the previous peak formation was a high or low, that's where you start your count. So if we start our count from here and we are running the weekly setup, then at this point in time, we've only had one drop, which is an upside down V drop. Unless I guess you count this week, you may say it's an M, but I think you're clutching, to be honest. So we have this level here that has led to definitely a level 1 drop. And when you look on the 1 hour, this whole sideways movement here is literally just a board meeting. We have not been able to come back into this vector candle. That was a requirement if we were going to have more upside today. As you can see here, we wicked into it, but failed to even get 50% beyond it. So not looking too great. However, what we have to wait for to see right now is whether or not the market maker is accumulating at the 16.9 region. Maybe they're just not ready to push price higher yet, or maybe we're going to come into our level 2 drop. And the reason that I say that is because that 16.9 is at the 200 EMA. So until we actually cross below it, we can't really assume continuation to the downside. Even though I'm feeling like we'll probably get it, you still have to have your conditions for if your gut is wrong, I guess. So looking at this, we are so close to the 200 EMA breaking. And if we do, then I'll say we're going to get the level 2 and 3 drop. So when I have a look at the heat maps, this is telling me a pretty good sign right now, because we have these levels up here that excuse me, that are increasing now. So we've had the short orders at 17,200. They've been sitting there for days now, but now we have even more orders that come in total 6K between 17,200 to 17,300. Why are they increasing while price is decreasing? That's one question we have to ask ourselves. And then the other thing is, you can see a very high level number here at 16.9, which is the area that I just pointed out at the 200 EMA. So this is kind of like the last chance hope, I guess, of the bulls trying to hold price at 16.9 and not let it break down. And now if we hold that level, that is what's making me think that the market maker is keeping price in a range to accumulate for a bigger move potentially later on. So that will be very dependent on this 16.9 not breaking. So when I have a look at the actual order book here, we can see that it's definitely a round number. Now, what I do find is when the largest level of orders happen at a round number, that is usually the market maker. When it's like, say, 16,905, that's just not a normal number. So I don't tend to pay as much attention as I do when it's round. So 16.9 at this point in time, if we can hold that level, I think that's the level that right now they don't want us to break. However, when we actually have the session changeover, because what it could be is that we're holding that level just because of Asia, just to set the initial low of the day. And once it's set, when the UK starts, the UK's job is to run a trend and break one of them. So it either breaks the initial low of the day or it breaks the initial high of the day. So we have to wait for UK to start to see which way they're going to run their trend today. So it could be that those orders are only there because we're coming to the end of Asia session. So just be aware of that. The end of any session is a very bad time to open a trade. Always wait. Even if you're seeing the most perfect TA and the most perfect setup to take a trade, if it's in the last hour of a session, wait for the new session to enter, because we have trap moves at the end of every session. That could be what we're in right now. If we do break that level, see how it's growing now? Now it's 2.4, right? So they're definitely trying to hold that for the end of Asia. But if we do break it below, you can see that we have fairly high level orders, 2.4K at 16,600. So if we break it, I would expect us to hit that final target. Now, we've had that 16.6 for a while on this channel, actually, and it's still a significant level. When we were looking at the high block liquidation data, that's where we got the level from initially, and now we can see orders there. So when we see that, we know that there's a lot of people who are in current open positions that are going to get liquidated if price goes down there, and then we've got positions the other way that are going to then pick up if we enter that level. So those trades get closed out, these trades get picked up, and usually if we move out of that level and then come back, that's when we start looking for W's to see if we then shift out of the range again, providing that we're in the right level at the right time to be looking for W's. So that's number one there. Let's go back to the chart and have a look. So main key is trying to hold this 16.9 level. Wait and see. We don't have an extension just yet. We usually get it exactly on 2 a.m., which is right now. So let's see what this candle does. The thing is, if the candle issues the extension to the downside, and this is why at this point in time you need to wait for the session changeover. If this candle issues an extension to the downside, what can happen out of that, let me just get my drawing tool here. What typically does happen out of that is that we then retrace after we have that extension to the downside, and then we're waiting to see if that move after that retracement creates a higher low, because that gives us a W formation where we'll then be looking to the upside. Now, because of where I think we are in the weekly cycle, I'm not expecting that to happen. If it did, it would be a day trade on the 1 hour time frame, but it would be a very small trade. So, and the only reason I'm open to that happening is because of these heat map orders up here. to growing in size. It kind of just doesn't make sense that it's growing while we're moving away from it. So just want to be aware of that. Look, now even here we now have two levels growing at 16,850 and 16,9. So there's definitely someone out there with big money is trying to hold this so it doesn't break the current low. We just have to wait for UK changeover to see what's actually going to happen there. So 16.9 is the key. Let me just one sec, go back here and see if it's still 16.9 to 16.910. That's the area that we want to watch. Let's see if it breaks while we're actually live on this stream, because if it does, I don't really see a reason for it to stop anywhere until we get into this area right here. And as we know, we have a pretty big liquidation level at 16.6. We have big orders at 16.6. Kind of makes sense that would be the target. I was trying to be first, but had to watch an ad first. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. This seems like unusual price action. Well, if it's following the weekly model, it's not actually unusual at all. It's actually very typical. And if I zoom out, I can show you that. So we had the W formation start of the week, rise level 1 into a board meeting, rise 2 into a board meeting, rise 3, not start of the week, start of last week. Then we went into the weekend consolidation trap, which always happens. Monday fake move was the extension to the upside, which we talked about. If you get an extension at level 3, that always leads to a correction. Currently, we are in the correction, and if the model is to continue playing out, we should drop 2 more levels. And this, what's happening now, if we break this level, it will be the start of drop level 2. Now, just to be clear, if we drop 2 more levels, that does not mean it has to decrease in price. To give you an example, that could mean that, say, drop level 2, let's just say it does take us all the way down to 16.6. We could then retrace back up here. We could then drop here, and this would be drop 3, but it ends up being the same price. So we won't know until we actually get there. But that's what we're waiting for. Oh, I think we're going to get it now, guys. I think we're going to get it. Anyway, let's have a look at ETH. Whilst we're waiting for that to break. ETH has not been as strong. ETH has not been as strong. So we've got 1, 2, and this looks like the third touch to this level. So it does look like ETH wants to come into the vector zone. Here we go. It's going now. There we go. So that's... I love it when we catch it live. Look at that big juicy move. Congratulations, everyone who's short. This here was your telltale sign too, was this rejection of the EMA. Again, dead gap zone. Was very, very wary of it on this morning's video. Hopefully that warning did save you guys some money. Having these fake moves in dead gap, fake move in dead gap, and oh, it's nasty. It's a nasty one. Let's watch them both live together. Wow, this is a lot more exciting than doing Asia opens, right? Asia doesn't move like this. So we've broken 16.9 for Bitcoin. Perfect. Let's see what happens at 16.6. We're going to, let's have a look at these heat maps as we do it. So, okay, these orders are moving down, so they do want to catch it at 16.850. They do want to catch it at this point in time. What have we got going on? Should I, wait, 16.930. Wait, this isn't this. Let me refresh this. I don't think this is actually updating. 1 second. This is so weird. This here says the price is 16.930. Right? I'm reading that right? 16.930, but the price of Bitcoin is 16.780. There must be a glitch right now. Damn it, that means we can't fully rely on this. It's stopped working because it hasn't moved at all. Market makers are watching us, guys. The market makers know that we know what they're doing. Damn. Claire's is the same. Okay, so Trading Light is having a glitch. It's not just mine. Okay, we're all not uploading. All right, well, that's all right. We can still... It looks like these are changing, though, so I'm not sure if this is still reliable, but this is not changing. Yes, they do watch us. Yeah. Okay, we can't do UK opens because now we know that the market maker is awake during the UK. That's why price moves, and they stop our software that we need, which is not fair. Is this still moving? This is still moving, so we're good here. All right, so we're in the zone. We're good. Now that we've broken this one, we can get rid of it. Great. This definitely confirms that we're in the weekly setup drop level 2. So it could be that, because this is fairly dramatic, whenever this decides to stop, if it stops short of 16.6, then expect a little bit of a retracement back to a 50 EMA, which could take some time. And then maybe drop 3 will take us to the 16.6 unless we get there very, very soon. But really, all you'd be waiting for now. I personally don't trade level 3 because I just feel like it's too late. But what will happen next is that the 50 EMA will continue doing something like this eventually. It might take, the next 2 sessions. And then price will likely do something like this. And then we'll hopefully hit our 16.6 target. Because we now have this fast moving vector right here, it's likely once it's finished this move, it's likely that it will come up, try to recover most of it, which let me see if I can find you an example of it in the last move. So we have a fast move here. It's likely that it recovers most of it, and then once it's recovered it, that's when it makes its decision whether it's going to continue to the upside or the downside. But because we're in drop level 2, we would expect another drop after this. So that's what I'd be watching for. It's kind of a quick, easy update, really, because the move is done now. Let me know if you are short in the chat. We grabbed this M formation short from up here. So let me know in the chat if you are still in your short from up in this level. And ETH, we grabbed it at the 3 hits to the high. That was the 3rd hit to the high. So we should be good if you guys are still there. What have we got going on in here? Any questions? Are you looking to move to the Middle East? Yes, I am. I live there, been here for almost 6 years. It's never boring as long as you have financial security. Well, I need a friend when I move there, so can we be friends? What else is going on here? Good morning. Annie, where are you? Right now I'm home in Melbourne. I'm in Melbourne. Good to see Juicy. What else going on? 16.6, I'm waiting. Good one. 50% profit taken. Good management of your trade. Why wouldn't take a long at level 3? Oh, I would take a long. What I meant was I don't take a trade in the same direction at level 3 because I know it's nearly over, and so I'm not going to have a really good risk to reward. But I definitely start to look for trades in the opposite direction at level 3. Yeah, for sure. I wish I trusted my gut Monday night. The biggest thing with trading is not trusting your gut, or not your gut. That's not really the right term, but trusting your TA. A lot of the times you'll find that, academically you have it spot on, but there's just something that triggers inside you that just can't make you pull the trigger. But it comes, eventually it comes. You just have to learn to go for it and not be scared if you lose, because it's part of the game. Nobody wins every trade. I entered after the stop hunt out of the boardroom this morning. Good. That was a good decision, Janet. Short at 117% profit. Well done, Edward. Trust the TBD. That's right. Why are the numbers not matching up between TradingView and OKX ETH per? I don't know what you mean by ETH per. This is ETH. This is OKX ETH. I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean there. But anyway, had a bit of action there. So I really don't have anything else to add. What we kind of expected from this morning has happened, which is good. You know what? Let's actually try to refine this vector candle because it's a very wide zone. Even though we're eyeing off 16.6, the whole 16.4 to where we are right now, it must be the top of the vector because it's marked out 16.7, is an area that we've previously marked out. So let me just go and see why I did that and where we can find it. Okay, so we've got 4 hour 4-hour candle here that needed to be recovered. So see, when we zoom out on a higher time frame now, you can see how we had the W formation. We've had these 3 hits to the high. This here, if we had 3 hits to the low, in comparison, they're not as dramatic as the moves up yet, because this 1 hit down here was nowhere near as dramatic as this move up right here. So see now how you can start to see it playing out, how you can notice in this right side of the W, you have 1 hit here, 2 hits here, 3 hits here. So on a lower time frame, that would have been your 3-level rise. But on the higher time frame, it's just the right side of the W. Now, right now, we've got 1 drop, 2 drop happening as we speak, and potentially a 3rd drop, but they're way smaller than the moves to the upside. So as long as it stays that way, which we've still got another drop to go, so we're kind of just hoping, but as long as it stays that way and doesn't recover more than this candle, we're still bullish. If this area here holds as a support and we don't get any lower than that, all that is a W retest on a 4-hour time frame, and we would actually expect to move out and up from there. So the critical level, really, at worst case, we want to hold 16,430 if we're going to continue to have upside and this ends up just being a retracement. But yeah, and we may spike down there, in level 3. What else is going on in here? TPD killing out. I've had longs stopped out this week. Well, it depends on where did you enter long, and also are you doing your count correctly? It might also be that you longed at level 3. That's another thing too. Again, what I was saying earlier, I don't take a position in the same direction at level 3, because there's no guarantee that a level has to be a rise. There's no guarantee it has to be an increase or a decrease in price. Level 3 can literally just go to the same place level 2 did if there was a retracement in between. And that's why I would rather get my trades down here at the second peak W and just ride it for as long as possible and get that big juicy risk to reward on one trade, rather than having to enter here, exit, enter, exit, enter. It's too active and I'm lazy, and the last part of my brand is chill. So we just like to just do chill, easy trades that we can ride for as long as possible. Okay, trading light apparently is working now. Yes. All right, let's have a look at what's going on here. So this, now I don't know how accurate it is. Let me just refresh again. Yeah, I don't know how accurate it is as far as like what got picked up in that time, but we'll figure that out. Look, these are growing now. So we have 2.6 at 16,600. I think we're going to get there, guys. I do think we're going to get there. I see this 1.9. Doesn't phase me that much. 1.9 can tend to just get eaten right through, but 2.6 is fairly significant. Doesn't mean we're going up from there. It should mean that that's where level 2 holds. We bounce, retrace for a little bit, and then we see our level 3. So loving that. Let's see what we can see on Ethereum. Where is it? ETH futures here. If longing at resistance, 100%, you wouldn't long at resistance. Okay. Oh, okay. Let's adjust these colors because this doesn't look very good at all. Interesting. Can't really see any significant buys on ETH. It doesn't look like anyone's interested, which is something I was discussing with the Discord TTC Discord the other day, that when I see the alts bleed a lot more than Bitcoin, it's actually a really positive sign to me, because it could be at this point in the cycle, I should say, because most of the time when investors believe that we're approaching a cycle bottom, they will start to invest in Bitcoin first. So when you see Bitcoin move not as dramatically or react not as dramatically as in comparison to alts to the downside, what it means is that people are starting to maybe slowly buy in because people get their Bitcoin bag, investors get their Bitcoin bag before they get their alt bags. So this is sort of proving to me again, there's not as much interest in pushing ETH up, and it will really depend on what Bitcoin does. There was something else that I wanted to look at, which I just completely forgot about now. Oh, what was it? Oh, it was here. Let's have a look at what the Dixie's doing. So Dixie this morning, we talked about that we got our W retest. We talked about that yesterday, that we were waiting on it. We got it overnight, and we were at the 200 EMA on this morning's update. So the key was to see if we broke the 200 or not. And it does look like we broke it on that candle. That means this play is out, and the W so far is playing out. That we have the W, we have rise 1, retrace. This is rise 2 to the 200 EMA. At some point we should retrace or go into a board meeting, and then we would expect there to be another one. Interesting, this wasn't purple this morning. Interesting, but it is now. So I'm going to change that target up here, because that will be our rise 3 target after we have a bit of a retracement. So when we do have this when we do have this retracement, as long as it creates a higher low, that's what's going to be, that is what will be the thing that causes Bitcoin to stop its bleed, and we may just either go sideways or retrace. And then we should have our third move. If the model's to play out, which so far it's acting deliciously, that's really what should happen. Let's have a look at what the rest of the market are doing. So it looks like H patterns are happening on the S&P and also NASDAQ. Interesting. I can definitely see 3 level drops there. 3 level drops ending in a H pattern. A H pattern could turn into a W pattern at the 800 EMA for the S&P and at the previous vector for NASDAQ. Not bad, not bad. Everything kind of looks like it's happening as it's supposed to me. Let me see what else. Anything in here? Only longs I have open a spot. Yeah, for sure. Need Dixie to make a lower high and break down. Well, at this point in time, it's crossed the two. It's attempting to cross the 200. If we get a clear breakout and above it, yeah, we've got an issue of that whole cycle completing, which will mean more upside. There is still a chance that it could reject this 200 EMA because it's right on it right now. So if we were to get in the next 32 minutes a railroad track, for example, which looks like it's quite possible in these 2 candles. Let me open it up again here. Then it could be that we reject the 200 and we come back. But I would still, at this point in time, because I can count a rise 1 and a rise 2, I would still expect a rejection here, or not expect. I'd wait to see if it created a higher low at around the 50, and I would just expect another rise from there if it did. So if the 50 kind of went like that, and then price did, a bit of a thing like this, I would say we're going to bounce and move up. Like, that's just how it should play out if the whole model completes. Is there any questions? Because I don't really have too much else to say. I'm happy to do like a 5-10 minute Q&A if anyone wants to ask anything. Whilst I just bring this back up so we can monitor it. Let's monitor it on the 15 actually. Feel free to post your questions in the chat. Have you cut back the ice cubes? I have. It's definitely an instant improvement, isn't it? I'm missing it, but here we are. If it causes me to not cough, then I'll put up with it. It hasn't fully disappeared, but yeah, it's definitely much better. It's -5 degrees here. Where are you, Philip? Time to switch to hot tea. That's true. I really should do that because I actually really do love tea. I should do that. I am holding long position formed 4-hour W on ETH, fingers crossed. Yeah, I have a long position from 15.6 on Bitcoin. I can't remember what was my entry on ETH, but I'm still in those as well. Unless we break, below these candle zones here, I'm not too worried at this point in time. You should use it. I do have air purifier. I have salt lamps. I have everything. Scotland, wow. All right, guys. I think if there's no other questions, then hang on. There is one. My liquidation is at 16.4. Well, your stop loss should hit before your liquidation. Number one. Let me read the rest of your question before I yell at you. I was in profit on Monday, but now I'm down. My entry is 17.5. So you entered at level 3 rise. Let me just look at you entered. If you entered, how did you enter at 17.5 when all we went to was 17.430? You would literally have had to have entered at the top. Oh, Bitcoin 250 by mid 2023. I've seen that guy. Who was that guy who said, is it Tim something? I've seen that guy. We better stock up, guys. We better stock up. He said it. In Chinese medicine, the ice cube trigger your cough if you have yin body. How do you know if you have a yin body? I must have a yin body. Got stopped out before that big drop. This is drop 1 on 1 hour or drop 2? In my opinion, this is drop 2 on the 1 hour. On the 1 hour, if we zoom out. I see why you may think it's 2 drops, and you might end up being the person who's right. I tend to just group them. I don't really go by one candle at a time. When I'm talking higher time frame, I do on the 15-minute. I will pay more attention to the candles, but on higher time frames, 1 hour or above, it's just like a group where we moved, then we consolidated, then we moved. So to me, this is 2, and I would expect 1 more. Especially the fact that we seem to be holding here at this level for now. Obviously, we've still got 30 minutes for this candle, but kind of makes sense that we will hold where we previously held. We'll come up, we'll fail to break the 200 EMA here, and then plummet down to the midway point of this candle. That would really just be the perfect 3-level drop, in my opinion, and then I would look for W's from there. Kramer said sell your BTC, did he? Yeah. All right, let's see where ETH is on that 1 hour in comparison. So ETH has now killed off this liquidation zone. These people are gone. We have a liquidation level at the very bottom of this candle to be aware of. So we're getting close there now. Probably will hit it by the time we have our 3rd drop. And I'm on the 1 hour already, so let's have a look. Yeah, does look like after our 3 hits to the same level, this is the lower high here. So therefore we've got drop 1, board meeting, fake stop hunt move, which we were aware of this morning. Drop 2, yeah, same thing. Would definitely expect a further downside if we're to play out as we're really meant to. I meant 17,050. Okay, I was like, how did you magically buy at a price where it didn't go? 1705. So here's the thing. Well, you'd have to have, where do you decide to cut your trade? So if you longed at 17,050 here, or I don't know what candle, but let's just say this was the level, like where do you decide to cut the trade? Because price should never come close to your liquidation point. It should come to your stop loss well before it hits your liquidation point. So I always tell the guys in my group, you have to have a setup, you have to have a trigger to enter a trade, and then you have to have a refund zone. And your refund zone is where you decide you're going to cut the trade if it's not going the way you initially thought, and you need to know that before you even enter a trade. You can't make up your mind once you're in the trade, because now you're thinking with emotion. So you need to have your setup. If you're going to enter a trade, okay, this is where my stop loss is going. This is my entry. This is going to be my trigger to actually take the position. Obviously, you'll take profit as well. And finally, where you're going to cut the trade before it even hits your stop loss. So sounds like you didn't have your refund zone. I would definitely add that to my trade plan. Would you expect a reversal after 3 drops if that's before news? Well, I don't think we have a lot of news this week. So I think that's why we're just playing a typical model. But yeah, if we hold this zone, I would expect more upside because we're just playing the model on a 4-hour time frame. And would you consider we got a SV? Even if we did get a SVC, I don't really care, because why would I be looking for long positions if I believe I'm at level 2 drop on the 1-hour time frame? So I'll have a look at it, but it's not M's and W's wherever they hang out. It's M's and W's in the right spot. So no, we don't have stopping volume candle, because I'll tell you why exactly. There's no follow through already. With a stopping volume candle, you don't want the next candle to almost immediately attempt back at that level. You don't want that. With the stopping volume candle, you want to see price shift out afterwards, because you need follow through. We don't have follow through. You know what a stopping volume candle is? It's a high level of orders that were down here that were set as limit orders already, that when price came down, all it did was pick them up. So now that they're all picked up, you need to wait and evaluate the strength of that move and the ability for price to move out as a result of picking up those orders. There's no strength when this candle here currently looks like this. So no, that's not what you look for. You want to look for orders are picked up, bulls are in control, off we go. That's why you then wait for your repeat with the W formation, the second peak of it. We don't have that right now. We don't have that. There's a lot of weak, and you'll see this all the time when you have a big move down, that you'll have a stopping volume candle, then it comes back and it just keeps going lower and lower and lower. That's why you can't just buy off a stopping volume candle. You have to wait for the shift out of the zone afterwards. So you see here, shifted out of the zone afterwards. Here, we've not shifted out of the zone afterwards. So yeah, be careful of that. It's not just, don't just enter on stopping volume candles, because you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 stopping volume candles in this range and price went nowhere. So it's only one part of what you need in order to enter a trade. What price target for the third drop on ETH? Around 12.15 on ETH. Let me have a look. So ETH, yeah, 12.13 is but we might actually get there, because this is like fairly dramatic, this drop. We might actually get there on drop 2, but around that price will be a full recovery of this one right here. And then, I mean, if we break that 12.15 before we get level 3, then we're looking at around 11.80-ish. Yeah, let me have a look at the 1 hour. Probably around this liquidation level here, I would say, if level 2 breaks the 12.13. If not, we may just stop here, retrace, come back, finish it off, and that will be as low as we go. But just watch out to see if level 2 breaks it or not, and then you can have a lower target. There's no point having a lower target if we have not broken below this vector just yet. Do you set your take profit in advance? No, I watch all of my entries and exits. I manually do all of them. But it's because I have the time to do it. If I had a full-time job or a family to take care of and I couldn't just go to a computer whenever I needed to, then I would set take profit. So really, don't just follow advice of people, because their life might be different to yours. And if you're a busy person, you'd be better off setting take profits for sure. Are we expecting a W reversal forming between today and tomorrow? Well, we're only in drop 2, so maybe not today, but could be from tomorrow. Yeah, we always expect a midweek reversal. It could even come in UK tonight for us. But yeah, we need our level 3 first. Charts have been so volatile. Good. Volatility is money. What are you expecting the true bottom to be? I think it's in, but I do see liquidity below at 13.3-ish, 13.3 to 13.6. It is there, but there's a lot more here at 15. So we may revisit 15 a number of times. Well, we didn't go to 15, but say 15 to 15.3, we may get into that area a number of times. But there's nothing really here that gives me a reason to think we're going to break below it just yet. Unless we had another really bad dramatic event, then my next goal would be this 13-ish to 13.5 region, but I'm not even really thinking about that whilst this is still here and price is well and truly above it. Do you set alerts or actually keep the charts open? Well, the charts are always open in my office, but yeah, I do have alerts. And most of the time the alerts are the chat in the Discord because you guys chat 24/7. So I don't even need to look at charts these days. I just look at Discord and I'm like, oh, okay, someone said dramatic move. I better have a look. And that's all I need to do. We've got all the same eyes. We've got 600 pairs of eyes in Discord all looking at the same thing. It's delicious. You can't miss a thing. So it's so good. Hey, Annie, do you give a little advice of investment for long-term to first class? Well, I don't really have any advice. Well, A, because that's illegal here to give advice. But B, if you want to invest for the long term, the best way to do it is to dollar cost average slowly over time. That's it. Pick what you want to buy, what you believe in, and dollar cost average over time. What does area of interest mean? It means, usually for me, it's an unrecovered vector candle. So this here was the area of interest because price had only come to here before this drop just now. So it's either a target of where I think where my take profit will be if price enters the zone, or it's an area where I would expect or look out for price to reverse if I was looking to take a trade in the opposite direction. So because we're only, in my opinion, we're only at level 2 right now, it's an area of interest as a target for level 2, this one right here. Need to see how price reacts, but this area of interest will stay here for me until price has broken below this candle. And then when it does, so all I would really do is adjust it to wherever this candle ends up closing. But once it does, that is deleted, and then the next one will become my area of interest up here because this here is the bit that is currently unrecovered. Do you know if High Block will provide an ETH? No, I don't know. I don't know if they'll do it. I hope they do though, because that would be very helpful. Could you quickly tell me the level 3 for Link or Atom? I'll have a look at Link. Oh no, why did I do that chart? That's not what I want. I don't know that chart. Link. I want this chart. And also, I assume that you're talking 1 hour time frame, or this is a little bit different actually, because we've already had this drop here, retracement drop, board meeting drop. It's in its third. It's already in its third, in my opinion. So I'd be waiting for it to fully complete, see if it fully completes this candle right here. And if it can stay clear of it, then you're good. But it's completing level 3, so it could drop further below this level. That's what you have to wait for. But to me, it's in level 3 already. What else is there? I sense a big drop coming imminently. Pretty sure that just happened. Yes, smash those likes, guys. We are live. I really appreciate it. It does help. We've got 123 watching. That is awesome. But we only have 45 likes. So I would appreciate it if you could smash that like button, and also hit subscribe if you're not already subscribed, because it does allow you to turn that bell notification on to be notified when I do go live. And also, what was the other thing I was going to say? Come join us in the Discord if you want to learn this method. The link for everything that you need is in the description of any of my videos. Let's go back to Bitcoin now. Smashed with one click. What do the right phasing crescent moons mean? So they're bullish and bearish moon phases. I won't go into too much detail because there's a lot to know, but I'll give you a very brief rundown if it helps you. So when the moon is red, you're expecting downside, and when it's green, you're expecting upside. So the major ones are the full circles here. So if you see a red full circle, you would expect downside from there. And if you see a greenish one, which didn't happen in this case, it's not 100% effective, of course, like any indicator. But if you see green, you would expect upside for there generally over the 2 weeks. And also the other thing to know about it is that there is a 3-day window either side of seeing it. So the move up can happen, or the move, whatever move is meant to happen, the move can happen before the thing prints, or it could happen after, but generally you'll find a move in the opposite direction as we lead into it. So here you could see price was heading down, so you had this fake move up as we lead into the bearish moon phase, and then you'll have it the opposite as we lead into the bullish moon phase. Then these ones in between are just very, very short term, so little for day trade. So when you see this little half moon here, that's a very short term move to the upside, which you can see happen there. And then same thing here, little day trade short term move to the downside. So there you wouldn't expect major. So the big round circles are basically a 2-week trend that can happen 3 days either side of the symbol, whereas the other ones are just day trade symbols that will likely play out that day. And then these quarters, these are just like the different phases of the moon in between. And so if you see the fraction underneath price, that's pushing price up. So this is it played out already. And then if you see them above price, that's pushing price down, which you can see already. They're not you wouldn't trade those. They're not the major moves. It would just be like maybe if you're already in a trade and say you were in a long position and that came up, you might go, oh, I'm expecting a retracement soon. That's generally how it works. But obviously, like, you don't trade off that alone. You trade off other things. So when I see the moon phases that are confluent with the levels that we're in the market maker method, then I go, okay, cool. These are my two confluences. It just adds to me, just adds fuel to my fire, right? Like that. I'm like, okay, bullish moon phase. I can see a W formation. I can see we just did a liquidation hunt and we took out a lot of leverage. Cool. I'm good for a 3-level rise. That's kind of how I use it. But yeah, it does get as complicated as you want it to get, really. Hope that was a good 2-minute explanation for you. When you move country, will your live times change? Yes, because it will be 4 a.m., I believe. However, I'm not moving for like 4 to 6 months. So we got time. And not only that, like, don't forget, I only do my lives on YouTube, but inside of our Discord, we do live open sessions almost every session, every day, every trading day, Monday to Friday. I have 3 other people on my team that run live sessions as well. So we have Asia, UK, and US covered almost every single day. So you can just jump in there and then it doesn't even matter. You just jump on the one for the session that you actually want to trade, and we all trade the same way, which is even better. Can we still sign up to? Yeah, you can always sign up to Discord. The link is in the description. It's also pinned to the top. Did I pin it? Yes, it is. It's pinned to the chat here on YouTube, and it's also in the description of all my videos. I sense we may hit 16.5 or lower. Well, if we hit 16.5 in level 2, there is a good chance we'll go lower. And you know what I'll do for you guys? If that happens, I will post an update on, wait, where's all my drawings gone? I'll post an update on Twitter. I'm on the wrong thing, that's why. Let me put ETH back up here. So yeah, so if you're not following me, well, be in the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, be sure to follow me on Twitter, but only grab the links for my social media from the description of this video, because I have many, many scammers and there's nothing I can do to stop it. So make sure you grab the official links so you don't get approached by someone pretending that they will invest your money on your behalf. That is not something I would do. Okay. The moon's not green or red, though. It's full on. Oh, yes, of course. But I was explaining the colors for people who don't understand what full or new moon means. I mean, just dumbing it down. Okay, guys, I'm going to leave it there. So what indicators do you use? All right, let me answer this finally, and then I'm going to leave it there. So number one, I use the market session times by Trade Travel Chill. That is going to put these down here. Also have a TikTok going out about this when I get off this video. So market session times will give you the session times. You can either have them below your chart or above your chart. And it also has the moon phases, but you can just turn that off if you don't want it. Then the EMAs that I use are 10, 20, 50, 200, 800. And that's all I have to say about that. And then this is the PVSRA. So if you go into the settings of PVSRA, I override the chart symbol for Bitcoin because I trade on OKX. By the way, my preferred exchange. If you are looking for an exchange to trade on, check them out. They do have audits on their website, so check that out first. If you're happy, grab the link from the description of the video for 15% discount off trading fees. However, I override the chart symbol to Binance chart because I want the Binance volume because volume is much higher there. And then you can also tick this here, and that will change your candle colors, whereas I don't need it ticked because my candle colors is the Trade Travel Chill custom indicator, which is only available to our paid members. But if you're not a paid member, this will do a similar job, and so you can just tick that. So that's that. This down here is RSI, nothing to talk about that. And everything else that you see on here that marks out your initial high and lows of the days and does all of those markings for you, they're all part of our custom indicator. This session times up here, part of the custom indicator as well. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Enjoy your day. Enjoy this bleed if you're short. Be sure to take profit along the way, and keep an eye on my other social media if we break the level. I will see you guys tomorrow morning for the Asia update. Don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Bye-bye.